guys, Anthony Olan Tech here. Welcome back, and this is actually a tech review for the first time in a while. Now, since I started doing YouTube, I've been doing my video editing on. Originally, I started on a Galaxy tablet using some editing app I found on the Play Store, and then I upgraded to my iPad Pro, which I've been using iMovie on this, and for the most part, it's been doing the job that I needed it to do. But there were a few issues with the application itself, and that's primarily due to the fact that you can't really prevent the application itself from constantly increasing in size because of all the projects you're creating. Even if you delete your projects or you back up your projects, you're still going to have that application size increase dramatically. So with that, I decided to upgrade to another piece of technology. And typically I do go with Windows. I would have gotten like a Windows laptop or something. But I also need that video editing capabilities, and I'm not really looking to pay for one when I can get a free video editing software on an Apple device. So I went with the 2020 Mac Mini. So what we can see here is my Mac Mini with a few USB hubs attached to it, but that's not really what I want to talk about at the moment. What I want to talk about is the Mac Mini itself. And what Apple was doing with this device is kind of putting out the whole idea of more power in a small package. And this Mac Mini does come in a few different options in terms of what chip is processing it or what chip is running inside the system, as well as your hard drive size. I think I got the basic model, which is about 256 gigabytes, I believe, of hard drive space, and it also has the Apple M1 chip. And what that basically means is that they're trying to promote this idea of this new chip that has all that power in such a small piece of technology. And what this new chip is supposed to do is it's supposed to provide 3 times faster CPU performance and up to 6 times faster graphics, which means what you're going to do in terms of productivity or gaming is going to have a much smoother experience as compared to previous models. And they're also saying that it has up to 15 times faster machine learning. I'm guessing what that is kind of the machine learning your habits and what you like to search and stuff like that and what you do. So that's probably what they mean by that. Now, other models do come with the option of an Intel processor, such as an i3 or an i5. And they also come in the bigger hard drive sizes, but they also cost a lot more money. This is kind of like the budget alternative to having a desktop computer at home. And I gotta say, for a desktop point of view alone, it feels good to actually have a desktop once again. I've been using tablets and laptops for a number of years now, and it feels good to actually have a desktop at home. Now, what the Mac Mini also provides for you is 2 USB-A ports and 2 Thunderbolt ports. My understanding is that Thunderbolt can support both lightning cables and USB-C, and apparently if you use a lightning cable, you do get a faster performance on those cables as compared to the USB-C. But your USB-C is still going to have faster performance compared to your standard USB. It also has an Ethernet port, a HDMI port, and it has the port for the power cable. And you also have a headphone jack on the back, which is also pretty good. However, I do wish that the headphone jack could have been located somewhere else, maybe on the front. That way you'll have a much easier access to it, as well as more slack for your headphone. So one thing that I forgot to mention in this review is that with this device, you're also getting a really good ventilation system. And what I mean is that no matter how much you're doing on this device, whether you have a lot of tabs open and you're trying to do a lot of multitasking, this thing will not get hot, it will not overheat. It manages to stay cool throughout the time using it. I've had it being used for a few hours and it wasn't even hot at all. So that's one side note that I forgot to mention that I just want to put here. It has a really good ventilation system. It stays cool, cooler than some people like myself, but it's a bad joke, but just a little side note to keep in mind for this video. It also does support Bluetooth as well, so if you are like me and you want to use Bluetooth headset, whether it's an Android headset or off-brand Bluetooth headset or even AirPods, they will work with this flawlessly. And you can also obviously use a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, or you can use a USB mouse and keyboard. And that's kind of what you're sacrificing here with this model, as opposed to buying a MacBook or an actual Mac desktop, is that you don't get a screen because it's just a little square device, and you don't get a mouse or keyboard. You have to get that on your own. And my option was, it was going on between a Mac Mini or one of the MacBooks, and I already had a Bluetooth mouse and I already had a keyboard and a monitor. Another thing, you would have to have a monitor yourself as well. So to save that extra $100 or so, I went with the Mac Mini. It was also a little bit more powerful than the MacBook itself, and that's kind of understandable, being that this is a technically it is a desktop. So for that price of starting around 699 roughly, you're kind of having a bit of a powerful experience compared to the MacBook, but you're losing the keyboard, mouse, or trackpad and a screen. So if you don't have these devices on hand, you either have to find ways to get them without hurting the bank, or maybe consider spending the extra 100 for the MacBook. So not to say that this device is bad at all. It is a pretty good device. I've been, experimenting with it since Mac is a bit different than PC. And I gotta say, the real reason I got this device was for the video editing. Now, in terms of that itself, iMovie is different on the Mac than it is on the iPad. There is a lot of it that's the same. There's a couple of things that are different. The iPad version may have one thing that the Mac version doesn't have, and there may be something obviously viewable on the iPad version, but it's really hard to find in the Mac version. So that's something you got to keep in mind if you are like me, who's transitioning from a tablet to a desktop for your video editing. But the good thing about it is being able to put all your devices, all your videos into this device and put it onto an external hard drive and export your videos there. That way you don't have to worry about the app size crowding all the hard drive space on your device. So that's what's happening with this device in terms of the performance I've seen and what I can do with the video editing. And I gotta say, there is a lot of stuff that I still have yet to test myself. One in particular is gaming. They are trying to push the idea that you can game on this device. And with that, I believe that there are some games out there on Steam that is compatible with Mac, but there are some that aren't. There's also games on the App Store that they're trying to promote. Some I believe would work pretty well, and some don't really work that well. For example, they have the Tomb Raider trilogy, the new trilogy, on the App Store for the Mac, and you can play them all fully. And I think with that, this system could possibly run that. Probably not on the best settings available, but it can possibly run a very smooth experience. But I don't see anyone wanting to game on a Mac if they already have consoles. And if they don't have consoles, I pretty much would think they would be PC gamers, not Mac gamers. Another game that I found that didn't work well at all was Among Us. They were promoting these new iPad apps that are now available on the Mac. Among Us was one of them. And the problem is you're forced to use your mouse as a finger on a touch screen. In other words, you can't use your keyboard to move your character in Among Us. You have to use the mouse to move the digital trackpad. And that's pretty tedious and doesn't make any sense. You can't really promote these apps as very usable on your device if you're not making it compatible to the way that it should matter. I should be allowed to use a keyboard to move my character, or even some other means, and not have to use the mouse on the digital trackpad. So that's kind of an issue with that in some of these apps. There's also an issue that not every app that you have on the iPad is on the Mac, but you would have to find those on Google Chrome or something. For example, I couldn't get Canvas or YouTube Music on the Mac's App Store, but if I just went to those websites, they gave me an application to download themselves. So you have here the benefits of the App Store for what it can do, the good stuff that it does have. You have the benefits of free video editing due to iMovie, and the benefits of an actual desktop computer for everything else you need. Email, resume typing, internet search, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you want to search, whatever you want to do. So that's pretty great right there. And also the fact that you can plug in USB hubs, and you can plug in multiple storage devices, whether it's external hard drives, flash drives. I have here a setup of a microphone, external microphone. I have two USB hubs. I have, a webcam. I have my GoPro that I use sometimes on it. So there's a lot of things you can do here with the customization of your accessories. And I gotta say, for me not to be the biggest Apple fan, for this price and for what it can do, I think that this device is worth it if you're looking for a desktop and you don't really care about the major specs and the most amazing features and everything. This can get the job done for even the basic users, and it can also get the job done for those who want to do a little bit more with productivity like myself. So I hope this review was good for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It is, we're basically at the holidays now. We're basically at Christmas now. So it may be too late if you were trying to get this as a gift for someone. And I apologize for that. It didn't occur to me to make a video about this. I completely forgot. But if you were looking for a computer in the near future and you don't want something that's super expensive and something that is functional and works great, then I can highly recommend the Mac Mini. And if you can go for one of the other models that has the Intel processors, which is going to make your experience even better because it can run even more things. If you're trying to run a capture card software, you're going to need that Intel processor to do it. Or if you're trying to do a Twitch stream channel, you would definitely want those Intel processing models. And if you can get it, even better. Plus, those models come in black. This one is only in the silver. I like mine to be in the black, space gray, whatever. So if you can get those, great. If not, this is still a great device that you should be able to do what you need to with it. With that being said, I'm at Olan Tech. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.